Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero. We are back talking about a continuation of the absolute meltdown that is going on with the Mighty Golden Patriot, drawn by John Dillard and written by Yellow Flash. That's right. We always have these people doing the exact same stuff that they always tend to do with anything coming out of Rippaverse or coming out of the Rippaverse itself. It's crazy to me that this continues to go on as these guys continue to absolutely melt down over literally anybody having success. That, again, deals with the Rippaverse. The fact that I have to constantly say this all the time is absolutely insane. But you have your usual, well-known detractors, such as your good old Juju the Cow, your throat goat. Yesterday we had a little bit of a meltdown coming from John Malin over this whole thing, constantly going on for about 4 days with Yellow Flash. And apparently Eric July's warehouse workers having something to do with the Mighty Golden Patriot's success. But I think it's very weird that these guys do this whole thing where they have this fake outrage over certain things that the Rippaverse does. Meanwhile, these guys are doing it the same way and doing it much worse. So we're going to get into all that. I never actually got around to talking about the closeout of Zalen and the Great War Separation number 2. We had Zalen coming in at a final total of 264,609 total sales and 8,789 total books sold. Now again, these books are sold after campaigns end, so these are not the final numbers overall because the books will continue to sell after the campaigns end. However, cover A did sell out during the campaign, so that's always a cool thing to see. Great War Separation number 2 did end around 210,000 in total sales, whereas I believe the first one ended around 233,000, so that's actually pretty much in line, around the same total. A 20k difference isn't really a huge deal, but again, the books continue to sell after the fact, and for this campaign in particular, covers A and B both sold out for this book. So people slacking on the variant covers, you should really get in on those. I feel like the variant covers for Mighty Golden Patriot, cover C will sell out, but we'll just have to wait and see. You also have Yara number 3 currently at 123,715 total sales, 4,197 in total books sold. Probably much higher. I actually didn't refresh these pages, so it's actually at 4,199. ISOM 3 coming in at 597,000, but it's closing in, I'm sure, on 600k. Yes, 10,500 total books sold. The Horseman, I will also have to give a quick refresh as well because this was supposed to be a bonus video for yesterday, but I'll give you guys a video today. 8,662 total books sold, 260,210 in total sales. For the Mighty Golden Patriot, coming in at 61,207 total sales. The numbers are probably more updated if I'm logged in, which I'm not sure if I'm actually logged in right now, but 61,641 total sales, 2,221 total books sold. Just to put that into perspective for people, you have things like Wrath of Hierophant at 63,000 during its initial launch, so it's closing in on that number, which would be hilarious when that gets surpassed. And Fearsome was at 110,165 in total sales. That's actually still in demand. No one's really buying that. This one's actually closed, so it'd be hilarious when this book crosses 100k and beats out this one and most likely this one. But I'm not sure if I covered this, but Box Top Comics reminded that Yellow Flash still has not paid his artist after 3 years, and this is the merch he puts out with this description: "You don't hate these people enough." Here's the thing. What are you selling? Why are you complaining about what Yellow Flash is putting out? Why don't you put your stuff out and shut up? That's my thing. These guys all have products to sell apparently, and they're always talking this absolute nonsense constantly about other creators and what they're putting out. And it's designed to champion creative work and fair compensation. Well, yeah, Dillard is getting 40% of the IP, so he gets 40% of every sale made, which is why I said, so everyone should be expecting you to buy a book then, right? It's because of concerned trolls like you why this shirt exists in the first place. Here's the link. Hope it helps. Yeah, and you return with, "Dillard got my money already. I don't need to buy anything." The shirt itself is a spit in the face of his artist, who still hasn't been paid. But hey, at least those detractors got trolled, right? It's not really trolled, by the way. It's actually monetized. That's the word you're looking for. The detractors typically will get monetized with campaigns like this. Similar to my YouTube channel, you guys get monetized on a regular basis because it's funny to watch you all melt down and co-conceive over literally me calling out your hypocrisy, just like I'm going to be calling out hypocrisy in this video as well. He has 40% of the IP, as I said. Okay, STFU then, lol. The dude gets paid on every sale of the campaign, dummy. 40% ownership of the IP. Why are you so retarded? It's like, do you have any freaking books to sell, bro? Like, what are we actually doing here? You're clearly not that well known. 107 followers. You're clearly not that well known. You're trying to do the same thing that people like Boss Foston were trying to do by latching on and nipping on the ankles of people more successful than they are for whatever reason. I mean, you have clowns like Beowulf over here, who's a mod in EVS's channel, who's an absolute clown. 650 for the all-in. Who in the fuck does Yellow Flash think he is? Well, a popular commentating YouTuber. I mean, popular enough to get 61,641 total sales and over 2,000 books sold in, what, 5 days? 4 days, actually, for the 2,000 books? I mean, who are you to judge what he charges for his stuff? I wouldn't pay that price for a new Dale Keown original IP. He's my all-time favorite artist, so then why are you complaining then? If you're not going to do it for someone you actually like, then why are you complaining about it for someone you don't like? Yellow Grifter sure is a potential song bitch if he thinks people should spend this kind of cash on an unproven IP. I mean, I think Inglorious Rex is an unproven IP as well. I mean, it's only really in the circle of new CG. It's not really a thing outside of the internet. What are we talking about? So you get 4 covers. So you got the Kelsey Shannon cover A, you know, the same cover artist that a person like John Malin used to do a show with, who he completely crapped on. Rini for cover C is another artist he used to be friends with and totally crapped on. Mike S. Miller with cover B, and I think it was John Willis, or Ron Willis, something like that. I don't really remember, of cover D. You have the Tales from the Battlefield, which is illustrated by Quaff, a prequel that's a $6 book, a poster, another poster, CGCs of all the covers, and then 2 shirts. Okay, cool. The price is the price. You can pay it or not. You can do that. You have the free will to pay or not pay. That's fine. But I'm like, yeah, and because an unestablished IP apparently isn't still charging $600 for a 9.9 by itself for, you know, Inglorious Rex 1, the regular cover that's normally signed by Yanzi and Shane anyway, I only have to pay $35 to get a signed copy of this. Why should I pay $600 for a CGC? You have people really sitting there talking about, you don't get 9.9s or even 10s anywhere except here. It's like, are you that stupid? I've seen 9.9s and 10s from the Rippaverse. A person won a 10 for Yaira, I think, number 1 from MegaCon just this past year. Like, what are we talking about exactly? There was literally a 10 on a table. And people have gotten 9.9s like Bruce and Hugh versus Babyface. They've gotten 9.9s for CGC from Yaira number 1. And those were like $120 or $130 and got a 9.9. Like, what are we doing? Why am I paying you $600 for an unestablished IP? This is from the first Inglorious Rex, by the way. Not even the second one, not the third one. This is the first one. You're still selling it. And, of course, Yanzi's justification was, oh, there's only 41 of them in existence. So? Still don't care. You have the same Beowulf idiot being like $32 for a generic shirt in reference to the pay your artist shirt, and I'm like, wow, still waiting for the fake outrage over this one, where it's literally the Inglorious Rex logo on the front of the shirt and the 9 lives on one side, and I guess this is from right here in the middle of the O, I guess, for the Inglorious part. You're paying apparently $75 to $80 for a generic shirt of a logo of a comic book that's not really that established. It's literally only known in the indie comic circles. Nobody talks about this crap outside of the internet, dude. And as I stated before, I talked about this yesterday, but I'm gonna reiterate this. This is again Malin talking about how he has unprofessional cover artists, and I sit here laughing at him saying Rini's cover for the Mighty Golden Patriot is far superior to Ethan's Ice Up number 2 cover, and so is Rob Willis's cover, GTFOH. Laugh my ass off. By the way, my opinion, because I have to specify for low IQ idiots who take everything as a factual statement. Like, everything comes down to opinions and artist subjective. It only sold well due to name recognition. Nobody respects you, quote-unquote, comic pros because you don't respect the customer's money and deliver a product in a timely manner and actually make good stories. Were you not friends with Kelsey Shannon and Rini as well? I guess you believe both of their covers are trash to you as well. With friends like you, who needs enemies, which is exactly what I called this guy yesterday. I called him an absolute snake. It doesn't matter whether or not I disagree with Ethan Van Sciver or the Throat Goat. I still said his art was good. He's still a piece of garbage and a snake. I did say his Rainbow the Brute posts made his art look like slop as it went on, but with his Cyberfrog, sure, no problem. These are the same idiots that will dig up a video of me saying that, yes, Ethan Van Sciver should be able to sell his crappy Cyberfrog comics at a convention. He shouldn't be banned for his political opinions. Congratulations. It's me being consistent. Wow. You also have Oh, Juju the cow. Lol, pocket watching is the entire post of these E-Celeb comics, Eric. All you morons do is post about how much money you make until you don't. It's a sport for disaffected nerds. We're making money. The stories in the comics are irrelevant. I mean, he does live streams for that type of stuff. He does spoiler streams, and now he's doing the Rippaverse roundtable on Mondays to do that stuff. You clearly don't know what pocket watching is because you've been pegged so much. You have the IQ of a gnat at this point, because that's how I really feel. You also had clowns like Vito, the guy who still hasn't released Superkiller, hashtag win a Superkiller, still trying to cry about everybody else's comics and putting his own perspective. It's like, if you have all this perspective, why is your book still not out? Why didn't you make anywhere near as much money as Razor Fist? Like, what are we doing? You had to literally beg your E-Daddy, Ethan Van Sciver, to get you across 6 figures. You had 70K and you were stagnant until you had your Frog Daddy help you, which again isn't pocket watching. I don't really care how much money this person makes. It's the fact that you want to sit here and talk about how you have business sense, but yet you literally can't even use it on your own product. You have literally a podcast you could talk about it on. You have 2 channels, by the way. The total on the Rippaverse website doesn't include shipping, tax, or other fees, whereas Indiegogo and Kickstarter does. Also, why are you pocket watching so much when your book still doesn't exist? Hashtag win a Superkiller. It's like you got people like Pod Awful looking like they're gonna make a better looking Superkiller than you. It don't actually exist. And then Shane goes on and says, our highest numbers are 300K. XN and Starlight Cats were around 125K. XN was a reprint / remaster, which people found out it had a little bit of SJW nonsense in it. I'm known for making comics, and I'm trying to maintain streams that sell comics. As weird as it sounds, that's why I don't go deep into how comics are made. You find out a lot of readers don't care to know how the sausage is made. Okay, fine. You can still not be a total smug a-hole. And I'm like, yet the guy who is a rookie in the space outsold all of you quote-unquote comic pros. He also continues to do so. Even a limited series did better than Starlight Cats and Extend, and I reviewed Starlight Cats positively on my channel. A magazine outsold those books. I actually read the comics I've been promoting. Like Hero Darky Dark's Relentlessly Bully Hero, freaking Bullet Assassin Living in a Fantasy World, Super Plumber Sisters, Heroic Tales, Under God. I've read all these indie books. I gave them all glowing reviews because they're all fantastic and they're all different types of genres of book. Like I said, a magazine, the Ripazine number 2, literally outsold both Starlight Cats and X-End. And this is a magazine. This isn't a full comic. People were more interested in a short story of 16 pages drawn by Kane White more than your full-blown Starlight Cats book that you sold for $25. You could get this for $8 plus shipping, whereas $25 plus shipping equals $35 for your comic. So you're selling, what, somewhere between 40 and maybe 60 pages for $35, whereas this is an $8 magazine that you can read a short story that's 16 pages, and now it's a full-blown series? Like, what are we doing here exactly? And last but not least, it must suck that even with all the drama farming you do, old Juju the cow, you can't even make more money than Yellow Flash does daily. By the way, 55K without taxes, shipping, and fees in the number. Cope harder and seed longer. Now, what idiots in the comments here didn't understand by this post, because, you know, they're not very intelligent and don't know how to do their research as to what I'm actually saying here. $15,890 equates to $582 a day, whereas Yellow Flash is making thousands of dollars on this comic book every day. So $582 a day or thousands of dollars a day. They're not really understanding what I said in this post, because they think they're more intelligent than they actually are, and then sit there and act as if they're more intelligent than I am. Meanwhile, they can't even understand this simple post. It's about as hard for them to understand this as it is for them to understand the simple story of ISOM number 1. The book that we've been completely removed from 3 years into Rippaverse Publishing and Rippaverse Comics, whereas, you know, there's plenty of other books you guys could cry about, but you seem to always go back to ISOM and try to act as if, oh, because this book made $3.7 million for ISOM 1 and an absolute anomaly in the indie comic space, you think it should apply to every other book. Meanwhile, you guys don't read comics, you don't care about comics, you don't talk about comics, you don't care about what kinds of runs you've ever read because you've never actually read comics, and don't understand that some characters are more popular than others. Batman outsells everything in DC, whereas Spider-Man outsells everything in Marvel. Batman's never going to sell worse than Superman. Superman's never really going to sell more than Batman. Venom's never going to sell better than Spider-Man. That doesn't happen, because Spider-Man is the most popular character in Marvel, whereas Batman is the most popular character in DC. But when you're a tourist, you don't know these things, because you literally don't care about this stuff. You're literally just here for the blood sports, especially when you have people that literally outright tell you that they've never read Godlike and they've never read Cyberfrog, yet they're just here to be here, just in spite of Eric July, because a black man in comics takes over your entire brain as your wife has her entire body taken over by yet another black man. So it's like, what are we doing here exactly? You guys are just literally sitting here coping And that's all you can do. And for the people that don't understand, yes, laughter can also be a form of coping. So thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, smash the like button, comment below if you feel all this. Subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all. That way you'll get a notification. It's if I post a new video, go live on the channel. Consider becoming a member for just $1 a month. There's a join button down below this video. You can get access to emojis during live stream as well as members only content. And if you can't spare the buck, that's okay too. I appreciate you for jumping in on the videos and jumping in on the live streams. And I appreciate you all for being here and becoming members. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.